There is a plant so powerful that Korean emperors went to war over the mountains where it grew. It blocks the exact enzyme responsible for every wrinkle forming on your face right now. It grows in a pot in the shade and costs less than a cup of coffee to plant. It is only one of 10 plants that together replace every collagen product in your bathroom cabinet. By the end of this video, you will know all 10 and how to grow them in one single bucket for free. After age 25, your body starts losing roughly 1% of its collagen every single year. By the time you reach 50, nearly a quarter of the structural protein holding your skin together is gone. The collagen industry knows this better than anyone. It is now a $9.8 billion global market, projected to pass $15 billion by 2030. Walk into any health store in America today and you will see an entire wall dedicated to collagen, powders, capsules, gummies, creams, drinks, each one promising tighter skin in 30 days or less. But here is what nobody selling those jars will ever explain to you. Your body does not absorb collagen the way they suggest. When you swallow a collagen peptide, your digestive system breaks it down into basic amino acids. Then your body has to rebuild collagen from scratch on its own. The real question was never whether you have enough raw collagen to swallow. The real question is whether your body has the right signals to build it, the right compounds to protect it, and the right defenses against the three forces that destroy it faster than you could ever rebuild it. Those three forces are specific enzymes that shred collagen fibers apart. Glycation, where sugar molecules permanently stiffen and damage your collagen from the inside, and oxidative stress from ultraviolet light and chronic inflammation that degrades collagen at the molecular level. No collagen powder on that shelf addresses any of these three forces. They hand you raw material and completely ignore the factory. But there is a country where grandmothers understood this centuries ago. They never purchased collagen in a bottle. They grew the answer in their backyards and passed the knowledge down through generations of daughters and granddaughters. Korea identified 10 common plants that together address every single stage of the collagen life cycle. Not one product for one problem, but a complete system. 10 plants that stimulate new collagen production, block the enzymes that tear it apart, and shield existing collagen from sugar damage and sun damage at the same time. These plants are not rare. They are not expensive. Most of them are classified as weeds. Most thrive in any temperate climate without special attention. Nearly all of them can grow together in a single container on a porch, a balcony, or a fire escape. The supplement industry sells you one product at a time: a powder, a serum, a capsule. Korea built a garden. Modern cell studies and clinical research out of Korean, Japanese, and Chinese institutions have confirmed that the active compounds in these plants either directly stimulate the cells responsible for making collagen or block the specific enzymes that destroy it. This is not folk legend. This is validated biology that most Western consumers have simply never been told about. Over the next 30 minutes, we are going to walk through each of these 10 plants, what it does inside your body, how Korean families have eaten it for generations, and exactly how you can grow it yourself starting this weekend. At the very end, you will see how all 10 fit into a single container system that costs nothing after the first planting. The first plant in this system is one you have probably seen before without ever realizing what it could do for your skin. In Korea, they call it buchu. You might know it as Korean chives. It appears on dinner tables across Seoul and Busan so often that most Koreans treat it the way Americans treat parsley. It is background. It is garnish. Nobody thinks about it twice. But Korean grandmothers did not put buchu on every single table by accident. Your body builds collagen by converting an amino acid called proline into something called hydroxyproline. Without that conversion, the collagen structure cannot hold together. It falls apart. That conversion requires two specific things working at the same time: vitamin C and sulfur compounds. Korean chives deliver both in a single leaf. This is the same reason sailors on long ocean voyages developed scurvy centuries ago. No vitamin C meant no collagen production, and their gums bled and their skin literally fell apart. Buchu is the biological opposite of scurvy, packed into one small green leaf you can grow on your windowsill. To eat it, you chop it raw into salads or morning eggs. You make buchujeon, the traditional Korean chive pancake, which is one of the simplest dishes in all of Korean cooking. The vitamin C is strongest when eaten fresh, so if you do cook with buchu, add it right at the end. Growing it requires almost nothing. Buchu is a perennial. You cut it and it grows right back. It handles containers, partial shade, and cold temperatures. Sow seeds a 1/4 inch deep, and they sprout in 7 to 14 days. One pot of Korean chives gives you a collagen building block on demand every single day for years without replanting. Now, buchu gives your body the raw materials to assemble collagen. But what if there was a plant that actually told your skin cells to start producing more of it? There is one, and you have almost certainly ripped it out of your garden and thrown it straight in the trash. In Korea, they call it suk. In America and across Europe, it grows on roadsides, in ditches, at the edges of garden beds, where nobody wants it. Westerners see it as a weed to kill. Koreans treat it as sacred. Suk is so central to Korean culture that it appears in the founding myth of the nation itself. According to legend, a bear ate nothing but mugwort and garlic for 100 days inside a dark cave and was transformed into the first Korean woman. That story has been told for thousands of years. Picture a market in Seoul in early spring. You will find bundles of fresh suki stacked on tables everywhere. Families buy it to make suk rice cakes and suk porridge. They brew it as a spring tonic tea. This has been happening for over 2,000 years. When researchers finally tested mugwort extract on human skin fibroblasts, the cells whose job is to manufacture collagen, they found exactly what Korean medicine had been saying all along. The extract measurably increased collagen production. It also reduced markers associated with wrinkle formation. The science is straightforward. Mugwort delivers both vitamin C and vitamin E in forms the body absorbs efficiently through food. Vitamin E shields cell membranes from oxidative damage, while vitamin C powers the enzyme reaction that builds the collagen helix. Together, they accelerate the conditions your skin needs to produce collagen faster. You dry the leaves and brew them as daily tea. You powder them and add them to rice. You eat them in soups. These are the same options Korean families have explored for millennia. Growing mugwort takes no skill. It is invasive in most temperate climates because it self-seeds aggressively. In a container, that aggression becomes your advantage. Endless harvest, no replanting, full sun or partial shade, any soil, drought tolerant once established. Plant it in a pot and step back. Because this plant intends to survive whether you help it or not. Mugwort tells your cells to make collagen. But what if there was a plant that could directly command your fibroblasts to synthesize collagen fibers at a level no ordinary herb can match? The next plant in this system contains a compound so powerful that even the pharmaceutical industry has studied it for decades. The peer-reviewed evidence behind it is some of the strongest in all of plant medicine. In Korea, they call it byungpul. In Western botany, it is Centella asiatica. Across India and Sri Lanka, they call it Brahmi, and consider it one of the most important healing herbs in human history. In Thailand, vendors sell it as a cold green drink at street stalls. The active compound is called asiaticoside. In laboratory cell studies, asiaticoside has been shown to activate specific signaling pathways in fibroblasts, the cells that build tissue, boosting the markers of collagen synthesis. While these lab results are highly promising, it is important to remember that eating the leaf casually is digested differently than applying a concentrated extract. It also produced a 57% increase in the tensile strength of healing tissue. The effect was dose-dependent. More of the compound meant more collagen, reliably, repeatedly, every single time. Now here is what the beauty industry hopes you never connect. Centella asiatica is already the star ingredient in hundreds of Korean skincare products. Those famous Sisa creams line the shelves in Seoul and are now sold in Sephora stores from New York to Los Angeles. The global K-beauty market is worth over $10 billion, and Centella is one of its crown jewels. Companies extract the active compounds, stabilize them, patent the formulation, and sell a small jar for $40 to $80. The whole plant grows in a pot on your windowsill for the cost of a seed packet. Eat the leaves fresh in salads. They taste mild with a slightly bitter, earthy flavor. Juice them, brew them as tea. In Sri Lanka, families eat gotu kola as a daily salad called sambol. In Thailand, it is a common afternoon drink. To grow it, you plant it in a wide, shallow pot with moist soil and keep it out of harsh, direct sunlight. Gotu kola spreads by runners exactly the way strawberries do. It creeps across the surface and fills any container you give it. In warmer regions, it thrives outdoors year-round. In colder climates, bring it inside near a bright window. Once established, it spreads on its own and asks for almost nothing in return. Gotu kola builds new collagen at a rate that few compounds in nature can match. But building new collagen is only half the fight. Right now, inside your skin, there is a war happening. Free radicals from sun exposure, air pollution, and chronic inflammation are attacking your existing collagen and triggering the enzymes that shred it apart. If you cannot protect what you already have, then building more is like pouring water into a bucket with a hole in the bottom. The next plant is the bodyguard. Walk into any Korean barbecue restaurant tonight, watch the table beside you. They will pick up large green leaves with serrated edges and purple undersides. They will wrap grilled meat inside those leaves and eat them together in a single bite. This is not lettuce, this is not spinach, this is K-canip. In Japan, they call it shiso. In China, they call it zisu. In Vietnam, they call it tia to. 500 million people across Asia eat it every single week. Cyanip is perilla. It contains more of a compound called rosmarinic acid than rosemary itself, the very herb the compound was named after. Rosmarinic acid neutralizes the free radicals that trigger collagen-destroying enzyme production, and it reduces the inflammatory signals that make collagen break down worse. The seeds contain one of the highest concentrations of omega-3 fatty acids found in any plant on the planet. This omega-3 feeds directly into anti-inflammatory pathways that calm the chronic, low-level inflammation responsible for accelerated collagen loss as you age. Perilla does not build new collagen. It guards the collagen you already have from being destroyed. Eat the leaves fresh. Wrap them around rice and grilled meat the way Koreans do. Pickle them in soy sauce for a side dish that keeps for weeks. Growing perilla takes almost no effort. It self-seeds so aggressively that after one season it comes back on its own every spring. Full sun, any soil, drought tolerant. One planting and it returns without permission year after year. Perilla shields collagen from oxidative attack. But there is another threat that most people have never heard of. It is not an enzyme, it is not a free radical, it is sugar. And the damage it does to your collagen is permanent. There is a process happening inside your skin right now called glycation. Every time you eat sugar or refined carbohydrates, some of those glucose molecules attach permanently to your collagen fibers. They create rigid crosslinks that make collagen stiff, brittle, and unable to regenerate. Over a lifetime, your skin collagen can accumulate up to 50% more glycation damage. This is why aging skin turns sallow, dull, and loses its bounce. It is being caramelized from the inside out. In Korea and China, there is a tree that has been cultivated for over 4,000 years. Its leaves fed the silkworms that built the Silk Road and connected civilizations. But long before the silk industry, the leaf itself was medicine. Koreans call it pipong IP. The mulberry leaf. Mulberry contains a compound called DNJ that slows sugar absorption by blocking the enzyme that breaks carbohydrates down in your gut. Less sugar in the bloodstream means less sugar available to glycate your collagen. But the polyphenols in mulberry leaves also directly inhibit the formation of those glycation end products. Two layers of defense working simultaneously. Reduce the sugar available and block the damage reaction itself. You harvest the young, tender leaves and dry them for tea. This is the oldest and simplest method. 1 cup of mulberry leaf tea has been a daily habit in Korean and Japanese households for centuries. To grow mulberry, choose a dwarf variety that fits in a large container on your patio. Mulberry trees grow fast? A half barrel is enough space. Harvest leaves throughout the season and dry them in batches. 1 small tree in a pot gives you anti-glycation tea all year. Pause here for a moment and picture what you already have. A single large container, a half whiskey barrel, or a 20-gallon fabric pot on your patio. Korean chives lining the edge, mugwort in one corner reaching upward, perilla filling the opposite side, go-to cola spreading across the soil surface underneath everything like a living carpet, a small dwarf mulberry rising from the center, 5 plants, 5 different collagen mechanisms, 1 container, 0 cost after the first season. Now imagine adding 5 more. Inside your skin right now, there is an enzyme whose only purpose is to break down collagen. It is the primary engine behind wrinkle formation. As you age, its activity increases. Every hour of unprotected sun exposure accelerates it further. The next plant in this system was so valuable that Korean emperors went to war over the land where it grew. They call it insam. The world knows it as Korean ginseng. For over 2,000 years, ginseng was considered the most precious medicinal root in East Asia. Its active compounds are called ginsenosides. In studies on human skin fibroblasts, ginsenosides suppress the primary collagen-destroying enzyme in a dose-dependent manner. More ginseng meant less destruction. But ginsenosides also increase your body's own natural defense against that enzyme. They silence the attacker and strengthen the shield at the same time. The traditional delivery method is samgyetang. Picture a clay pot in a small restaurant in Insadong, Seoul. Inside it, a whole chicken is stuffed with ginseng root, sticky rice, garlic, and jujube dates, then simmered for hours. You can also slice the root thin and steep it as tea. Growing ginseng requires patience. The root takes 4 to 6 years to mature. It needs shade, cool temperatures, and well-drained soil. But here is the shortcut. The leaves contain the same active compounds, just in lower concentration. Grow ginseng in a shaded container and harvest the leaves for tea while the root develops below. By the 4th or 5th year, you will have roots that any Korean herbalist would be proud to sell. Ginseng blocks the enzyme that tears collagen apart. But imagine a single berry that could do the same thing while also fighting oxidative damage at the same time. 2 fronts, 1 fruit. In Korea, there is a berry so complex, they named it the 5-flavor berry because it carries sweet, sour, salty, bitter, and pungent all in one small red fruit. They call it omija. Omija cha is one of Korea's most recognizable traditional drinks, deep red in color and served ice-cold during the hot summers in Seoul and Jeju. The primary active compound, eschizandrin, suppresses the collagen-destroying enzyme in skin cells exposed to ultraviolet radiation. It specifically counteracts sun-induced collagen breakdown. Simultaneously, it boosts one of the body's most important internal antioxidant enzymes and reduces the inflammatory signals that accelerate collagen loss. In animal studies, a cream made from schisandra extract inhibited wrinkle formation, decreased wrinkle depth, and reversed collagen breakdown in ultraviolet-damaged skin. 2 mechanisms from 1 berry. Steep dried berries in cold water overnight. That is the traditional Korean method. You can also infuse them into honey or mix them into vinegar drinks. Schisandra is a woody vine. Give it a large pot and a small trellis or fence to climb. It is winter hardy across a wide range of climates, and it begins producing berries after 2 to 3 years. The vine itself can live for decades. A little patience in the beginning gives you abundance that never ends. Schisandra fights damage from outside the cell, but the next plant works from inside. For 1,000 years, Korean physicians called it the women's root. They prescribed it for blood circulation, vitality, and the kind of radiant skin that no cream could reproduce. When modern researchers finally tested it, they found a compound the cosmetics industry had been hunting for in laboratories for decades. Koreans call this root dangguai. The name translates loosely as should return, meaning it brings health back to the body. In the West, it is known as Korean angelica. The key compound is ferulic acid. Research on human skin fibroblasts showed that ferulic acid increased collagen production, improved cell migration, and reduced oxidative stress. It also suppresses the 2 primary collagen-destroying enzymes while reducing markers of cellular aging. In simple terms, it makes your collagen-producing cells behave younger and work harder. Here is what the skincare industry does not want you to figure out. Ferulic acid already appears in nearly every premium vitamin C serum sold in department stores and specialty beauty shops across the United States. Those serums retail for $60 to $100 per ounce. The plant that produces ferulic acid grows in a deep container on your patio for the price of a seed packet. You slice the root thin and simmer it in water for about 30 minutes to make a warm tea. This is the traditional preparation described in the Dongguibo Gam, the monumental Korean medical encyclopedia finished by the royal physician Heo-jun in 1613. That book documented centuries of Korean plant knowledge, and Western scholars did not fully translate it until 1999. Grow dangguai from seed in spring in a deep pot because the root needs downward room. It is a biennial that produces leaves the first year and flowers the second. Cool, moist conditions, partial shade. Harvest the root after the second season. Every plant so far builds collagen, blocks the enzymes that destroy it, or shields it from sugar and sun damage. But there is one more supporting role that is just as critical. Picture your skin cells as machines in a factory. The raw materials are there, the production signals have been sent. But if the factory floor is choked with debris from oxidative stress, then everything slows down. The next plant clears the floor. In Korea, they call it doraji. In English, this is bellflower root. It is so woven into Korean life that one of the most beloved folk songs in all of Korean history is named after this plant. Every Korean knows the melody. Doraji is food. Braised, stir-fried, pickled, dried. The root appears in banchan, the small side dishes that cover every Korean dinner table from Gwangju to Gangnam. You slice it, soak it in salt water to pull out the bitterness, then toss it with sesame oil and seasoning. The root contains compounds called saponins that act as antioxidant scaffolding for your cells. They clear the oxidative debris that prevents your collagen-producing cells from working at full capacity. Doraji does not build collagen directly. It creates the clean environment that lets everything else do its job. It is also one of the easiest plants on this entire list to grow. It is a perennial with gorgeous blue-purple flowers that returns every year. It thrives in containers, handles cold climates, tolerates drought, and requires minimal care. Harvest roots after 2 to 3 years. In the meantime, the flowers make your patio look beautiful. 9 plants, 9 different mechanisms. 1 remains. And this final one looks so similar to a plant you already learned about today that you could easily confuse them. Do not make that mistake, because the difference matters. This is Deulke IP. In Korea, this culinary leaf comes from the very same species as Perilla, Perilla frutescens. While some culinary varieties are selected specifically for seed oil and others for their tender leaves, they belong to the same botanical species. The seeds contain one of the richest plant sources of omega-3 on Earth, similar to Perilla, but with a distinctly different balance of compounds, including a higher concentration of vitamin E in the form of tocopherols. Here is why that combination matters. The omega-3 reduces systemic inflammation throughout your body, which lowers collagen-destroying enzyme activity. The vitamin E embeds directly in your cell membranes and stops a destructive chain reaction called lipid peroxidation that damages collagen fibers from the outside in. Together, these two compounds form a dual protective layer: internal inflammation calmed, external free radical damage neutralized, two shields working at the same time. Eat the leaves fresh or pickle them the same way you would perilla. Toast the seeds and press them into oil. Koreans call it dulcegirium, and it is a staple in Korean kitchens used for dressing seasoned vegetables. Growing wild sesame is identical to growing perilla. It is an annual self-seeding plant that tolerates full sun and any soil. Give it its own container to keep it visually separate from the perilla growing beside it. Now let me show you how all 10 come together. You do not need a farm, you do not need raised beds, you do not need a backyard. You need one large container and a few smaller pots arranged in a group. Take a half whiskey barrel or a 25-gallon fabric pot. In the center, plant a dwarf mulberry. It becomes the tallest element, providing anti-glycation leaf tea year-round. On one side of the barrel, plant mugwort. On the opposite side, plant perilla. Line the front edge with Korean chives in a continuous row. Across the soil surface, underneath everything, let Go-To Cola spread as a living ground cover. That single container now holds 5 plants with 5 separate collagen mechanisms. Around it, arrange satellite pots. Doraji and Korean Angelica each get their own deep container because their roots need vertical room. Wild sesame goes in its own pot. Schisandra climbs a small trellis in a large pot against a wall or fence. Ginseng sits in a shaded corner in its own container, cool and patient. In the first growing season, you harvest leaves from chives, mugwort, perilla, wild sesame, and Go-To Cola. You brew mulberry leaf tea and steep dried Schisandra berries into cold tea. In the second season, Doraji and Angelica roots become ready. The Schisandra vine starts fruiting. By year 3, every single plant in the system is producing. Your collagen toolkit is complete. Your only ongoing cost is water. Think back to the 3 enemies: the enzymes that shred collagen apart, the sugar damage that stiffens it, the oxidative stress that degrades it. Now think about the system that fights all 3. Go-To Cola and mugwort stimulate new collagen production directly. Korean ginseng and Schisandra block the enzymes that destroy it. Mulberry leaf shields collagen from sugar damage. Perilla and wild sesame neutralize oxidative stress. Korean Angelica rebuilds from inside the cell. Doraji clears the path so everything else can function. And Korean chives deliver the vitamin C and sulfur foundation that the entire collagen process depends on. This is not one product in a jar. This is a living system that grows itself back every spring without asking your permission. The supplement industry sells you a powder that your body breaks down into amino acids. The same amino acids you could get from any protein source. They charge premium prices for a product that never touches the enzymes, the glycation, or the oxidative stress that caused the collagen loss in the first place. Korean grandmothers never needed a supplement subscription. They walked into the garden before breakfast. They picked the leaves. They brewed the tea. They wrapped the meat. And they passed this system down for 2,000 years without ever needing a brand name or a barcode or a plastic bottle. You have that knowledge now. The plants do not care about your zip code. They do not care about your income or your age or your skin type. They care about soil and sunlight and water. Give them that and they will give you what no supplement company on earth can sell. A system that rebuilds itself, protects itself, and costs nothing. Forever. 10 plants, 1 bucket, and 2,000 years of proof. And the only reason you are hearing about this now is that nobody makes money when you grow the answer yourself. And don't forget, if you want to grow what the healthiest people on the planet are growing and start living like them, the Centenarian's Garden has got you covered. Go show them some love.